Thank you so much for watching Landumc Goes There. Please subscribe and hit the like button and the bell notification button. Police Woman is an American police procedural television series that was created by Robert Collins. It stars Angie Dickinson in the lead role, and it ran on NBC for 4 seasons, from September of '74 to March of '78. This show was monumental for its time. It's based on an original screenplay by Lincoln Hilburn, and the show revolves around Sergeant Pepper Anderson, played by Angie Dickinson. She's an undercover cop working for the Criminal Conspiracy Unit of the Los Angeles Police Department that investigated everything from murders to assaults to drug crimes. In many of the episodes, Pepper went undercover as a prostitute, nurse, teacher, flight attendant, prison inmate, dancer, waitress, and the likes, all done to get close enough to the suspects to gain valuable information that would lead to their arrest. Although Dickinson's character was called Pepper, sources differ as to the legal given name of the character. Most of the sources give that character's name as being Suzanne. Others give it Leanne. The police story episode entitled The Gamble, which serves as the pilot for the show, gives her character's name as Lisa Beaumont, although her character in that show is a new officer, whereas in Police Woman, she's a very seasoned detective sergeant. It's said that when producers had the show get completely picked up, they decided not to go with the name of Lisa Beaumont, and they came up with the name of Pepper instead. Angie Dickinson was 43 years old when the series first aired. In fact, she had been on screen for quite a few years. It's somewhat interesting that a president of the United States planned his work around this show. Gerald Ford adored it, and he made many notations that it was his favorite show on TV. He actually went as far as to reschedule a White House press conference because it conflicted with the show's time slot. It was the first hour-long television drama that starred a woman as a police officer. During the run of the show, Angie Dickinson received 3 Emmy nominations for it, and a Golden Globe Award also. Although the syndicated 1957 series Decoy that starred Beverly Garland was the first American television show to focus on a female police officer, the 30-minute drama series was very short-lived, lasting only a single season. By the last season, Miss Dickinson became tired of appearing in scenes where all it seemed like she did was being in a setting where the phone rings while she was taking a bath, and they always required her to look sexy, beautiful, and luscious for the camera. Nonetheless, she didn't expect the show's cancellation. In a 2019 interview, she stated that she really regretted having done the series because being tied up with that project left her little time to do other endeavors. It did really influence later shows that came along, such as Charlie's Angels, and it also caused an avalanche of applications for employment from women to police departments around the United States. Now, there was one episode that was really controversial. It was called Flowers of Evil. That was the 8th episode of Season 1. It aired November 8th, 1974. In it, Pepper investigates a trio of lesbians who run a retirement home while robbing and murdering the elderly residents there. Various groups came unglued on this show, saying that it cast a stereotypical and negative light on them. They did this so much that NBC agreed to pull it from its syndication and never rebroadcast that episode. If you buy it in DVD format, you can still be able to view that episode. Now, during the first season, Pepper has an autistic younger sister named Cheryl. She was seen on an occasional basis However, the production decided to drop this character from the show entirely before the second season started. The lovely Angie Dickinson came from some really humble beginnings. Believe it or not, she was a country girl before she ever knew anything about a glamorous life on the big screen. Far from the city lights of L.A., where she would later live, she grew up in a bleak little prairie town in North Dakota. She lived through a pretty dark time in history. She was born in 1931 and grew up in the Great Depression. And most of the time, she didn't have much to do besides twiddle her thumbs. Her father worked at a movie theater, and this sparked the beginning of her love for the big screen. Although she loved her father, she hated the way his drinking encumbered her life. But she used her father's mistakes to turn her life around in a startling way. She refused to live a stagnant life and began dreaming big as a small girl who fell in love with the characters that came alive on this big screen at the local theater. But she did feel like something was missing in the neat housewife roles of the leading ladies from back then. She thought that they needed something more. She wanted to be different. She wanted to be more like the male characters, like Humphrey Bogart or Gregory Peck. These male characters exuded excitement, while the women on the screen seemed to live colorless lives. She said that she wanted to look like Marlene Dietrich or Betty Grable or maybe even Lana Turner, but she wanted to do what the men did. Now, in 1966, she had a really controversial pose that she did for Esquire magazine. She went completely pantless in it. That iconic photo was snapped by Frank Bez when the actress was only 35 years old. She was the talk of the town when this came out, and there were a lot of groups that weren't happy with her strutting her stuff in this magazine. Although most of her men followers loved the fact that she appeared in this magazine. She also went on to do some commercials for the California Avocado Association, posing in a sideways position, staring at the camera, showing off her gorgeous legs. She consumes an avocado off of a fork and states that you too can have legs and a body like this if you consume avocados on a routine basis. Angie Dickinson was definitely a hot number on the big screen and in her role in this small screen role, even though she didn't like it. We as viewers loved it. Go back and watch an episode. It's a good series. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll continue to chase the classics.